This is a Pubcast Shot. I'm John Loomer. Sometimes you just have to face it. Your budget is too low. Let's go. Now look, this isn't meant to be encouragement to give Meta more of your money indiscriminately. I'm never going to tell you to spend money you don't have or are uncomfortable spending. Now the problem is that most advertisers simply don't appreciate how their budget limits them. This isn't just about spending more to get more results. This is about all the various strategies and things advertisers care about that becomes mostly pointless because of your low budget. So first, let's discuss the obvious point. Your budget needs to be high enough to produce meaningful results. So how do we define this? A basic rule of thumb is that it takes about 50 conversions in a week to exit the learning phase. If you're not generating that, you could argue that the budget is too low for what it is you're trying to accomplish. Now, of course, that may sound elitist or downright crazy if your CPA is $100, which would then require a $5,000 weekly budget. That may not be reasonable for everyone, though I'd argue it's all relative depending on the value of these conversions. Even if you can't generate 50 per week, you at least want to get halfway there, or whatever it takes to get worthwhile results. So how about an example? If you're spending $10 per day, don't expect miracles when trying to increase revenue. In fact, don't expect anything at all. But we see this all the time. Depending on the product and the expected CPA, a low budget could just as easily be defined as $50 or $100 per day. If your product costs $1,000, you can't spend $100 per day and expect a sale per day. And with all of that considered, Meta needs data to learn what's working, what's not, and to get you more conversions. So if you're getting one conversion per week, the algorithm is running blind. Any conversion you get is mostly luck, so it's guessing. But I see this with advertisers who focus on leads too. Depending on what a lead is, your expected cost per lead can be wildly different. It might be $1 or less for a lead magnet, or hundreds of dollars for a potential high-priced client. So again, adjust what a low budget is based on expected volume to get the leads you want. And let's be clear, we want quality leads, not just any lead. There are always ways to get cheap leads, but that doesn't mean they're worth even a small budget if you're throwing your money away. Now, second, your overall daily budget is much less important than your budget per ad set. Now, you can have a $1,000 daily budget overall, but then spread that out between 50 ad sets. Now you're spending $20 per ad set, and you're running into the same problem as the advertiser with a $20 overall budget. Your problems are just at a higher scale. Your results per ad set are far less meaningful because of the watered-down budget and smaller sample sizes. I've said it a million times, and I'll say it again. Prioritize a simplified approach. Limit the number of unnecessary ad sets as much as you can. Maybe you could spend all of that $1,000 on a single ad set. That volume will make your results far more meaningful, dependable, and stable. Of course, I realize that's not necessarily realistic. But if you can't spend more money overall, you should consolidate your budget the best you can. This gives the algorithm more data, but more importantly, is it gives you results that actually mean something. Small changes in conversion numbers can drastically change a perception of performance when we're spending less. These fluctuations will have less of an impact when you consolidate. Third, your budget impacts your testing strategies. I've seen advertisers with tiny budgets trying to follow advice from big budget advertisers, and it's just pointless. They're in search of the best copy, the best creative, the best combination of copy and creative. They turn off ads that are the low performers as they define them. They turn off placements that aren't generating conversions. And then they may not get any conversions on some days, and they're frantically trying to get something to work. When your budget is already small, you have to understand you simply cannot look at your results the way big budget advertisers do. Your results aren't meaningful. If one ad generated 3 conversions this week and another generated 0, it's not because the one that generated 3 is necessarily better. I've seen advertisers breaking down results with text variations and freak out because the variation that generated 2 conversions is being used less than the one that generated 4. It simply doesn't mean anything. So here's the bottom of the glass. Your priority should be to spend enough money per ad set to generate meaningful and actionable results. It doesn't matter what your overall budget is if you water it down so much that you have small budget problems. So prioritize simplicity, eliminate unnecessary ad sets, and consolidate your budget where you can. Now, if you have a small overall budget and don't have room to increase it, embrace this. Don't try to act like a big budget advertiser. Create the simplest campaign possible, limiting any complexity. Do not, I repeat, do not obsess over your results. Do not obsess over finding the best copy and creative. You're at a disadvantage here, right? So know that results will come slowly, and there's no reason to micromanage your ads. Because you're dealing with small sample size results, give the algorithm room to do what it needs to do. If you simply don't have enough budget to generate anything meaningful, consider dedicating that money to remarketing only. Now, of course, you might know my opinion on remarketing. This can lead to inflated results that aren't particularly incremental, but some results are better than no results at all. I create a ton of free content, and I admit it. Look, if you run an agency, you're busy, you can't keep up with everything I'm writing and publishing on a regular basis. And there's a lot to know, right? So look, you'll be forgiven if you're not keeping up with the latest new feature, latest changes that are happening in meta advertising world. So while I do publish a blog post every week, I also, beginning at the end of 2022, publish short form videos on a regular basis. That is now part of my toolbox as well. But not only do I do that, but I've created a separate section of my website for these, what I call quick video tutorials, which feature a 1-minute video at the top and a shortened blog post that expands on that video, provides screenshots as necessary below it. And you may not be getting those alerts or know about those videos right now, but you can change that. All you got to do, go to johnloomer.com/video-alerts, and you can subscribe. Every time I've published a new video, you'll get emailed a notification. All right, so thanks so much for joining me again today. Until next time, do awesome things. I'm out.